a human engineer, inherited the galaxy's largest warship. He stopped in awe upon boarding. Born on a small mining colony at the edge of known space, he spent most of his life fixing broken machines, rerouting power conduits, and dreaming of stars he could never reach. Life was predictable: work, eat, sleep, repeat. The galaxy, with its empires, fleets, and politics, existed in the background like a faraway storm, loud, dangerous, but irrelevant. Until the day the letter arrived. It came in a small, sleek envelope that hovered in front of him, delivered by a quiet drone. Jonas frowned, wiping grease from his hands as he held it. The seal was unfamiliar, the emblem of the Galactic Inheritance Authority, a symbol so old and faded that few living beings even remembered it. With trembling fingers, he broke the seal. To Jonas Vale, heir to the vessel Eternity's Edge, formerly owned by the High Council of Zephyr, acceptance requires immediate boarding. All other claims are void. Jonas blinked. He read it twice, then a third time. The galaxy's largest warship, inherited. Surely this had to be a mistake. He was an engineer, not a soldier, not a noble, not a captain of anything larger than a mining shuttle. His mind raced. What is this?" he muttered aloud. His AI assistant, Luma, floated beside him, a small orb of blue light. "Sir," it said calmly, "according to all galactic records, Eternity's Edge has not been seen for nearly 300 years. Its current location is stable in orbit around the star Deltara 7. Boarding procedures are included in your package." Jonas exhaled sharply. 300 years. And now it was his. The journey to Deltara 7 was long but uneventful. Jonas piloted the small freighter that the inheritance package included, following precise coordinates. The closer he got, the more the star system revealed its strange beauty. Twin suns casting silver light on a planet scarred with craters, and in orbit, a shadow so immense it could swallow moons whole. When Jonas first saw Eternity's Edge, he stopped breathing. The ship was unlike anything he had ever imagined. It was not merely large, it was a city of metal floating in space. Its hull stretched for kilometers, smooth and dark, reflecting the distant suns like polished obsidian. The surface was etched with intricate lines of energy conduits that pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. The docking bay alone could hold 100 standard starships, yet it looked elegant, almost alive. Jonas's hands shook as he guided his freighter into the docking port. As soon as the bay doors opened, he felt a strange sensation, as if the ship itself were aware of his presence. The airlock accepted him immediately, sealing behind him with a whisper rather than a mechanical clang. Inside, the corridors were impossibly wide, polished to a mirror sheen, and illuminated by soft golden lights that seemed to come from nowhere. Every step Jonas took echoed gently, but there was no sound of engines, no vibration. The ship was alive in silence. "This is incredible," Jonas whispered. "It's perfect." He wandered the hallways, touching panels, running his fingers along controls that lit up at his touch. Ancient symbols glowed faintly, responding to him like they had been waiting. Then, as he approached the bridge, the hum of energy grew louder, vibrating through the floor and into his chest. The main bridge was a cathedral of technology. Consoles floated in midair, holographic displays danced above them, and a panoramic window offered a view of the twin suns and the spinning planets below. Jonas stopped in awe. The bridge seemed to pulse with life, as though the ship itself were breathing. Then a voice spoke. Not from a speaker, not mechanical, but from everywhere and nowhere. "Welcome, Captain Jonas Vale." Jonas froze. He spun, looking for the source. Who said that?" "I am Eternity's Edge," the voice said, calm and resonant. "I recognize you as my commander." "All others are denied." Jonas staggered back. I'm just an engineer. I don't know how to command a ship like this." The ship hummed in response, as if amused. "Command is not learned by rank or title. It is recognized by compatibility. You are compatible." Jonas's mind raced. This was impossible. Ships did not speak. Ships did not recognize humans as commanders. Ships did not think. But as he looked around the bridge, as he felt the gentle vibration of energy under his feet, he could not deny it. The ship was alive. Tentatively, he touched the main console. Lights flared, holograms shifted, and the entire ship seemed to respond. The energy humming through the corridors became brighter, warmer. And then, with a soft shudder, the entire vessel shifted. Not violently, but perceptibly, as if acknowledging its new master. Jonas stumbled back. It moved. Yes, said the ship, and so begins your journey. Over the next few hours, Jonas explored every corner of the bridge. He discovered systems that defied his understanding. Energy shields capable of covering entire planets, quantum drives that could bend space-time, and modules that could manipulate gravity and energy with precision beyond imagination. As an engineer, he understood pieces of it, but only pieces. The ship's technology was far older than anything humanity had created, far older than anything the galaxy had seen in centuries. But Jonas did not feel fear. He felt excitement. For the first time in his life, he was not constrained by his small colony, by bureaucracy, by insignificance. Here he had freedom. Here he had power. But more than that, he had purpose. As night fell across the star system, Jonas finally sat in the captain's chair, running his hands along the armrest. The chair seemed to mold to him perfectly, as if expecting him. The holographic displays shifted, projecting the galaxy before him. Planets, fleets, stars, all visible, all waiting. And then a sudden alert flared on one of the displays. A small blip appeared near the outer edge of the system. Jonas leaned forward. "What is that?" "Unknown," the ship replied. "A vessel approaching." "It has detected my presence." Jonas's heart raced. He had expected to be alone. He had not expected attention. The ship's voice was calm, but Jonas could feel a thrill running through him. This was no ordinary journey. The galaxy had noticed him, already. He activated the ship's sensors. The approaching vessel was small but heavily armored, moving with caution. It was not aggressive, yet. And yet, Jonas could sense the tension in the distant fleet, the subtle signals of curiosity and alarm. Humanity's mark, he realized, was about to be made. For the first time, Jonas understood the weight of what he held. Not just a ship, not just power, but responsibility. Eternity's Edge was not merely a warship. It was a legacy. And he, an unremarkable human engineer, had been chosen to inherit it. He reached for the communication console, hesitated, and then pressed the activation button. His voice, though quiet, carried across the void. "This is Jonas Vale," he said. I don't know what you want, but I mean no harm. I'm only learning as I go." Silence followed. Then from the unknown vessel a transmission replied, a distorted alien voice, thick with suspicion. "You, a human, you command Eternity's Edge. Impossible. Stand down or face consequences." Jonas swallowed hard. He had never faced fleets or empires. He had only faced broken machines and malfunctioning reactors. And yet, as he looked around at the vast, living corridors of the ship, he felt a surge of confidence. He was an engineer. He solved problems. And now he was the captain of a ship the galaxy had long forgotten, but had never truly replaced. He pressed his hands to the controls again, feeling the ship hum beneath his fingers, and whispered, "Then, let's see what humans can do." For the first time in 3 centuries, Eternity's Edge moved under its own will, following its new captain into the unknown. The galaxy, for better or worse, would never be the same. And as Jonas Vale stepped fully onto the bridge, the twin suns reflected in the vast viewport, he stopped. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with awe. The ship was alive. The galaxy was vast. And a human, small, ordinary, unassuming, was about to leave a mark that no one could forget. The galaxy had heard rumors before, faint whispers about a human engineer commanding the ancient warship Eternity's Edge. Most dismissed it as legend, a story told by traders to make life in deep space feel more interesting. But when the first scanners picked up the immense shadow moving through Deltara 7 star system, whispers became panic. Jonah's veil didn't notice. He was busy learning his ship. He had spent hours exploring the bridge, touching controls, feeling the hum of energy flowing through the corridors. Every panel seemed designed to respond to thought, every system eager to anticipate his intentions. For the first time in his life, he did not feel small. He felt capable. Luma, his floating AI assistant, hovered near the captain's chair. "Sir, multiple fleets are responding to your presence," it said, its calm voice contrasting with Jonas's racing heart. Estimates indicate at least 7 interstellar powers have dispatched observation vessels. Some are approaching cautiously. Others appear to be warships. Jonas leaned back, staring at the holographic galaxy before him. A single human engineer commanding a ship capable of holding an entire fleet. Somehow it felt unreal. "Observation vessels?" he asked. "They're not coming to attack, right?" "Unknown," Luma replied. "But caution is advised. The ship's reputation alone may trigger panic." Jonas let out a short laugh. "Reputation? Luma, I haven't done anything yet. I barely know how to turn this ship on fully." "That is irrelevant," Luma said. "The galaxy is reacting to the idea of your command. Humans are unpredictable." Jonas frowned. "Unpredictable how?" "Unpredictable," Luma repeated, "because no other species thinks like humans. You innovate, improvise, and adapt in ways no program or fleet formation can anticipate. Even your hesitation, your caution, creates unexpected outcomes." Jonas rubbed his forehead. This was both exciting and terrifying. He looked out at the stars. A small blip appeared near the edge of the system, a sleek, angular ship. Its markings were unfamiliar, alien. Jonas had no idea who it belonged to. Before he could respond, a holographic display projected a live transmission. The alien ship's hull shimmered into focus, revealing beings unlike anything Jonas had seen. Their skin was a deep metallic blue with elongated limbs and multiple eyes, each blinking in perfect unison. They looked rigid. A voice, sharp and mechanical, echoed through the bridge. "Human, you command eternity's edge. Cease all movement and identify yourself." "You are not authorized to possess such technology." Jonas's hands shook slightly. I don't know how to respond," he admitted. But then he remembered something. The ship was alive. It recognized him. And perhaps, just perhaps, that was enough. "This is Jonah's veil," he said, steadying his voice. "I am authorized by the Galactic Inheritance Authority. I am here to learn, not to harm. If you are hostile, I suggest you reconsider." The alien ship hesitated. Its sensors flared, scanning eternity's edge from every angle. Jonas watched, fascinated. This was no ordinary warship. It moved with precision, responding instinctively to his presence. And the aliens clearly didn't understand it. "They underestimate us," Jonas muttered to Luma. "Why do they always do that?" "Because humans are different," Luma replied. "Different enough to change outcomes." Over the next few hours, Jonas learned to operate more of the ship. He discovered that it was modular in design. Systems could be reconfigured on the fly, energy could be redirected in a dozen ways, and the ship itself could predict minor malfunctions before they happened. It was as if the vessel was teaching him, guiding him through centuries of forgotten engineering. And then came the first test. A nearby mining colony had sent out a distress signal. A solar storm was threatening to destroy the colony's energy core, and the automated defense systems were failing. Jonas hesitated only briefly. "Luma, can the ship help?" "Absolutely," Luma replied. "We can stabilize the core from orbit, but the procedure requires unconventional adjustments." Jonas smiled. "Unconventional is my specialty." He rerouted energy through the ship's auxiliary conduits, creating a temporary shield over the colony. Then, using a combination of gravity manipulation and energy pulses, he stabilized the core long enough for the colony's engineers to regain control. The colony's sensors recorded the entire event. The aliens watching from nearby fleets saw it too. Jonas had not fired a single weapon, yet he had solved a problem they considered catastrophic. And for the first time, the galaxy took notice. News traveled faster than light. Traders carried messages of a human commanding an ancient warship, using its power not to conquer but to protect. Some called him reckless, others whispered reverently about human ingenuity. And the empires, oh, the empires were uneasy. In the observation fleets, alien commanders met in panic. Impossible, one growled, his many eyes narrowing. That human, he modified the ship in real time. He solved the crisis. Ships don't think. Humans are not predictable. Jonas, unaware of the growing panic, spent the next day exploring the ship further. He found weapon systems, yes, but they were not just guns. They were tools, capable of defense, communication, even environmental manipulation. Every system seemed to respond to logic but also to his intuition. He was not a soldier. He was an engineer. And in this vessel, that mattered more than any battle training. Late in the star cycle, Jonas noticed a small fleet forming on the outer edge of the system. 7 alien warships, all moving with caution but coordinated, scanning every inch of space around him. They sent a transmission. Human, surrender the ship. Leave immediately. You do not understand what you control. Jonas frowned. I don't understand it, he admitted aloud. But I can learn, and I will not leave. He tapped the bridge console. The ship hummed, responding to his thoughts. He wasn't just moving panels or lights. He was communicating with the vessel, sharing ideas, testing limits. The fleet tried to anticipate his movements, but Eternity's edge was alive, and Jonas was its mind. He initiated a simple maneuver. The ship extended an energy projection outward, creating holographic copies of itself. To the alien fleet, it appeared as though dozens of massive warships were surrounding them. Panic spread across their command networks. They had not expected the human to think like this. Jonas watched the blips on the sensors as they hesitated. They think I have a fleet, he muttered, but it's just me and this ship. Luma hovered close. Correct. You have created a psychological advantage. The aliens cannot predict your actions, and their training assumes conventional tactics. Jonas smiled faintly. Humans aren't conventional. Throughout the next cycles, Jonas continued to demonstrate his ingenuity. He rescued ships caught in asteroid fields, redirected meteor storms threatening colonies, and even altered minor planetary orbits to stabilize climate fluctuations. Every action was calculated yet unconventional. Every display of power did not destroy, it solved. And still, the galaxy watched. Across sectors, alien empires convened emergency councils. A single human controlling Eternity's edge, and he's not even trying to fight, one commander said, shaking a clawed hand. He's changing the rules. For Jonas, it was exhilarating. He had never sought recognition. He had never sought power. But the galaxy had underestimated him, as it always did. And now he could prove that humans, simple, stubborn, endlessly inventive humans, were capable of greatness beyond imagination. One night, as the twin suns set over Deltara 7, Jonas stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic galaxy. The fleets remained at the edge of the system, observing, unsure of how to respond. The ship pulsed beneath his hands, alive and waiting, as if sharing in his wonder. I'm just learning, Jonas said quietly. But maybe humans can do more than survive. Maybe we can lead. Maybe we can protect. Luma floated beside him. Sir, the galaxy is taking note, and they will not forget what they see here today. Humans are different. And they may be the future. Jonas smiled, not with arrogance but with purpose. He had no intention of starting wars, yet he had no intention of surrendering either. For the first time, he felt the full weight of human potential. One engineer, one ship, and the galaxy was watching. And for the first time, Jonas realized the galaxy had no idea what humans were truly capable of. The observation fleets began to retreat cautiously, sending encrypted messages back to their empires. They did not understand the human. They did not understand eternity's edge. And they certainly did not understand the mind that now commanded it. Jonah's veil turned back to the ship, running his hands along the controls again. He did not yet know the limits of this vessel. He did not yet know the extent of human ingenuity when combined with millennia of forgotten technology. But he knew one thing. He was ready to find out. And the galaxy, for better or worse, was about to witness the rise of a human they could not predict, could not control, and would not soon forget. Jonah's veil had grown used to the hum of eternity's edge. Every corridor, every control panel, every glowing console seemed to respond to him as naturally as a heartbeat. The ship was alive, and it had accepted him as its captain. Yet the galaxy still did not understand him, or humanity. That would soon change. The alien fleets remained at the edge of Deltara 7 system, observing but unwilling to approach. Every communication they sent was cautious, coded with uncertainty. They had seen what he could do. They had seen a single human solve problems that took entire fleets to address. But Jonas knew that observation alone would not teach the galaxy the full measure of human capability. He had to act, and act in ways no one could predict. He began with experimentation. The ship had systems beyond comprehension, capable of bending energy, matter, and gravity. Most humans would have been afraid to touch them, fearing catastrophe. Jonas, however, saw opportunity. He rerouted power from the main reactors to a series of auxiliary conduits, creating what he called adaptive shields. Unlike conventional shields that simply blocked attacks, these could shift in real time, responding to energy signatures, mass, and velocity. They could absorb, redirect, and even neutralize threats before they arrived. He tested them first on himself. The ship extended a soft energy barrier around a small test pod. Meteoroids, stray debris, and even small energy discharges were absorbed without harm. Then he increased the scale, eventually covering an entire orbital station. It worked flawlessly. Luma observed silently. "Impressive," it said. "You are not following protocols. You are creating them. This is unusual behavior for a human," Jonas chuckled. "That's the point, Luma. Humans think differently. We don't just react, we improvise." Improvisation would soon be tested. The alien fleets, growing wary of the humans' apparent inaction, decided to probe. They sent a group of assault drones, small but heavily armed, to test the ship's defenses. Jonas watched their approach on the sensors. The drones moved with perfect coordination, designed to overwhelm conventional shields. Most beings would have panicked. Most would have fired weapons immediately. Jonas smiled. "Let's make them learn something new." He tapped the controls in a rhythm he barely understood. The ship responded instantly, extending adaptive shields around the drones' projected paths. The drones fired. Energy blasts hit the shields, but instead of absorbing the attack, the ship redirected the energy, creating a controlled field that pushed the drones back, scattering them harmlessly across space. The aliens observed in disbelief. Their drones, designed to destroy capital ships, were deflected by a single human, and the human had not even used a weapon. "Impossible," one alien commander hissed. They are not fighting, yet they control the battlefield." Jonas did not stop there. He experimented with the ship's stealth systems, which were designed to bend light, gravity, and even energy signals. Most species used stealth only for ambushes. Jonas used it creatively. He cloaked the ship entirely, then projected dozens of holographic images of eternity's edge across the system. To the aliens, it appeared as though an entire fleet had arrived. When the fleet attempted to engage, they were met with decoys, shields, and adaptive energy fields they could not predict. Every maneuver the aliens tried was countered not by brute force, but by ingenuity. Jonas was not fighting them directly. He was teaching them in the most confusing way possible that humans did not follow conventional rules. Days passed, and the alien fleets grew frustrated. Every strategy they employed failed. They began to retreat, reassessing their understanding of the human threat. Messages flew between their commanders, coded in urgency. A single human controls the impossible. Conventional war is ineffective. Meanwhile, Jonas had discovered a deeper secret within Eternity's edge. Hidden within the ship's AI was a subsystem that had been dormant for centuries, a system designed specifically for human intuition. It recognized patterns, predicted outcomes, and adjusted the ship's capabilities to the captain's thought processes. No alien could ever unlock it. It was a human advantage, long forgotten, waiting for someone like Jonas to awaken it. He activated the subsystem cautiously. The ship's hum intensified. Controls shifted subtly to match his instincts. Energy flowed differently, almost anticipating his intentions before he acted. Jonas realized with a mix of awe and excitement that he could now respond to threats almost instantaneously. The ship and he were one. The next test came unexpectedly. A rogue asteroid, larger than many cities, had been knocked out of its orbit by a distant solar flare. It was on a collision course with a mining colony. Jonas could have evacuated the colony. He could have destroyed the asteroid, but he wanted to push the limits. He recalibrated the ship's gravity manipulators, creating a controlled field that gradually slowed the asteroid. Then he redirected energy beams to its surface, creating a controlled disintegration. Every move required precision, and a single mistake could have shattered the colony. But he succeeded. The asteroid broke apart, harmlessly scattering into space. The colony's inhabitants watched in awe from orbiting sensors. News spread fast. Humans had just solved a problem that empires would have needed fleets and weapons to address, and the human had done it alone. The alien observation fleets were stunned. It is not just intelligence, one commander admitted. It is creativity, it is unpredictable thought. How does one human think like this? Jonas, unaware of the growing panic, continued exploring the ship. He found modules that could manipulate energy to simulate temporary wormholes, creating instant communication channels across light years. He realized that the ship's technology, combined with human intuition, made him capable of feats no alien could anticipate. He sent messages to nearby colonies, offering aid, guidance, and protection. Word spread rapidly. A human had inherited a legendary ship, and he was not using it to conquer. He was using it to save lives, to innovate, to teach the galaxy that humans were more than they appeared. Yet the galaxy's response was mixed. Some feared him, some respected him, some sought alliances, hoping to gain insight into his methods. The largest empires, however, began to prepare. They could not ignore a human who could control technology beyond comprehension. Jonas anticipated this. He began running simulations, experimenting with unconventional tactics. He discovered that by manipulating energy fields and gravity in precise ways, he could create temporary pocket dimensions, small areas of space where physical laws shifted slightly. In these zones, he could maneuver the ship in ways the aliens could not predict. He practiced, refining the techniques. Each experiment was calculated, yet unpredictable, and with every success, the galaxy's fear of humans grew. One day, an alien admiral sent a message directly to Jonas. It was not a demand or threat, it was a question. How do you control Eternity's edge? The message read. You are impossible. Jonas leaned back, fingers resting lightly on the console. I don't control it, he typed in response. We work together, and humans, we don't follow rules the way others do. The Admiral's response never came. The fleet retreated. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humans were more than just one species among many. They were a variable that could not be calculated, a force of creativity, ingenuity, and unpredictability. As weeks passed, Jonas refined his understanding. He had not fired a weapon in anger. He had not engaged in battle. Yet the galaxy had witnessed power unlike anything before. Not raw destruction, but the ability to solve, to adapt, to innovate. Humanity had shown its advantage without violence, and that advantage was terrifying to those who expected predictability. One night, Jonas stood on the bridge, watching the holographic galaxy. His ship pulsed gently, alive and responsive. Luma hovered nearby, observing him with a quiet admiration. "Do you realize," Luma said, "that the galaxy is changing because of you? They cannot ignore humans any longer. Your actions have shifted perception and power." Jonas nodded slowly. "I never wanted to fight anyone," he admitted. "I just wanted to learn, to explore, to fix things. But if they can't see humans for who we are, maybe we need to show them." And with that thought, Jonas made a decision. The next time the galaxy underestimated him, they would learn the truth. Humans were not just adaptable. They were ingenious, fearless, and creative in ways no other species could match. And now, with Eternity's edge, one human could demonstrate that truth to the entire galaxy. The twin suns of Deltara 7 set across the horizon, casting golden light through the vast viewport. Jonas watched them quietly, feeling a strange mix of awe and determination. He was not a soldier, not a ruler, not a conqueror. He was an engineer. And that made him, and all humans, unpredictable, unstoppable, and perhaps the most dangerous force the galaxy had ever seen. The galaxy had begun to watch, and it would never look at humans the same way again. The galaxy was restless. Whispers of a human commanding Eternity's edge had spread across countless star systems. For centuries, empires had assumed humans were weak, adaptable at best, predictable at worst. Now, a single human had rewritten that assumption. And yet, Jonas Vale knew the galaxy still had not fully grasped what humanity was capable of. He stood on the bridge, hands resting lightly on the controls. The ship pulsed beneath him, alive and responsive, humming with ancient energy. He had spent months learning, experimenting, and refining. The alien fleets had learned caution. Colonies had learned hope, but Jonas wanted to demonstrate more. He wanted to show that humans were not just survivors. They were creators, innovators, and protectors in ways no one had imagined. A message flashed on the console. It was from the Central Galactic Council, the ruling authority of several major empires. The tone was urgent. "Human Jonas Vale, surrender Eternity's edge. Failure to comply will result in full-scale military response. Your actions are destabilizing the galaxy." Jonas read the message carefully. He didn't smile, but his mind raced. The Council saw humans as a threat. Not because he wanted war, but because he had changed the rules of engagement simply by existing. He tapped the console and typed a response. "I do not wish to destabilize. I wish to protect. If you act in hostility, however, I will respond in ways you cannot anticipate. Humans do not fight like others. We solve problems, adapt, innovate. You have been warned." He sent it. Immediately, the Council's fleets began to move. Thousands of warships from multiple empires advanced toward Deltara 7. Their formation was precise, coordinated, overwhelming. They expected submission, or at least resistance in conventional ways. Jonas leaned back. "Luma, let's show them why humans are different." The ship responded instantly, integrating with his thought processes. Holographic displays shifted, controls hummed, and energy flowed through conduits in ways even Jonas had not yet explored. Eternity's edge was not merely a ship. It was an extension of human ingenuity itself. The first demonstration came without a shot fired. Jonas activated the ship's stealth modules and cloaked it entirely. Then, using holographic projection, he created multiple images of the vessel, dozens, stretching across the battlefield. To the Council fleets, it appeared as though they faced not one ship but a dozen colossal warships, each bristling with weapons and energy fields. The fleets hesitated. Alien commanders shouted orders, but their sensors told them one thing while their eyes confirmed another. Every attempt to engage the holograms failed. Energy beams were redirected harmlessly, communications were scrambled, and positional readings warped in ways they could not calculate. Jonas smiled faintly. They think they can predict us, they can't. We don't work like them. Next, he demonstrated Eternity's Edge's defensive power. Without firing a weapon, he extended adaptive shields over several nearby colonies. The shields formed a dome of light and energy, impervious to attacks and natural disasters alike. He redirected solar winds and cosmic radiation, preventing a nearby star's flare from damaging the planets below. Every act was deliberate. Every demonstration reinforced a single truth. Humans were not only different, they were essential. And then he showed the offensive capability of ingenuity. The Council fleets had expected weapons, explosions, destruction. Jonas did not deliver destruction. He delivered puzzles they could not solve. Using the ship's gravity and energy manipulators, he created controlled distortions in space around each fleet. Ships found themselves gently nudged off course, trapped in temporary fields that slowed or redirected them without damage. Fleets that had once relied on coordination and discipline now floundered. Every standard tactic failed. The aliens had no frame of reference for this. Jonas tapped the main console. The ship pulsed brighter, extending energy projections that gently nudged entire fleets into retreat. No lives were lost, yet the message was clear. Humans commanded the impossible. Across the galaxy, messages spread. Traders, explorers, and diplomats relayed word of the human and the legendary ship. "He doesn't fight like anyone else," one transmission said. "He solves problems, he protects, and he outthinks fleets without a single shot fired." The councils convened emergency sessions. Discussions turned to fear, admiration, and confusion. "How does one human achieve this?" one alien diplomat asked. "We have never seen anything like it. Their logic, their creativity, it is unmatched." Jonas, meanwhile, turned his attention to diplomacy. He knew power alone would not secure humanity's place. Respect and understanding were equally important. Using Eternity's Edge's communication systems, he reached out to colonies and empires alike, offering aid and guidance. He helped stabilize dying worlds, repaired damaged energy grids, and even demonstrated new methods of space travel using the ship's advanced modules. Humans had always been underestimated. Now, Jonas showed why that was a mistake. They did not rely on brute force or hierarchy. They relied on innovation, creativity, and an ability to adapt that no empire could match. Weeks passed. The alien fleets withdrew cautiously, leaving only observers at the edge of Deltara 7. The councils sent delegations, seeking dialogue. Jonas received envoys from multiple species, each hoping to understand how a single human could wield such influence. He welcomed them all, not with arrogance but with humility. "I am just an engineer," he said. "I inherited a ship that was waiting for someone to understand it. But humans, we think differently. We solve problems, we protect life, and we adapt to what others cannot imagine." The delegates were silent. They had expected threats, weapons, or domination. Instead, they found innovation, precision, and calm authority. Slowly, admiration replaced fear. Slowly, respect replaced uncertainty. Jonas knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would still have challenges, still have conflicts, but now humanity had a voice, a presence that could not be ignored. One human had shown what an entire species could achieve when underestimated. Finally, Jonas activated the ship's full observational systems. Holograms displayed the entire galaxy, showing colonies, fleets, and empires. He could see the ripple effect of his actions. Planets stabilized, fleets deterred from unnecessary conflict, and countless beings saved from disasters. He whispered quietly, more to himself than anyone else. We don't need to destroy to be respected. We just need to think and act. Luma hovered beside him. Sir, the galaxy now recognizes humans as a species to be considered. You have not only defended colonies and demonstrated power, you have shown wisdom. Humanity is no longer underestimated. Jonas nodded. Not underestimated and not ignored. For the first time, he felt the weight of responsibility, not as a soldier, not as a conqueror, but as a human entrusted with a legacy. Eternity's edge had chosen him, and he had chosen to use its power not for war, but for ingenuity, protection, and progress. He stepped onto the bridge balcony, looking out at the stars stretching infinitely. Twin suns reflected in the polished metal of the ship, casting golden light across the hull. Jonas smiled, feeling a quiet certainty. I only wanted to fix things, he murmured, to learn, but now the galaxy listens. And maybe, just maybe, we've begun to show them what humans are really capable of. And somewhere in the silence of deep space, the galaxy itself seemed to pause, as if acknowledging the truth. One human, one ship had changed everything. The stars were no longer distant and humans were no longer small. They were a force of innovation, resilience, and unpredictability. They were humanity, and the galaxy would never forget.